Welcome back to The Line. A federal judge recommended this week that a special master, we're going to get to what that means, be appointed to monitor two programs in the New Mexico Human Services Department. We've talked about allegations of fraud within that department. At HSD, a group of current and former employees, as a reminder, testified in court this summer that they were either told to falsify information or their supervisors changed applications to prevent some people from qualifying for emergency assistance. Mary T. Torres, interesting. Many folks have probably never heard of a special master.
Right.
And as I said, it's a very interesting thing. Help us out with that. What is actually a special master?
Sure. So Federal Magistrate Carmen Garza down in Las Cruces has made this proposal. And so you're going to have a special master who's going to come in and really report to the court, be the eyes and ears of the court, and can talk ex parte with the court, which is very important. So the special master, can talk to the court and say this is what's going on, without letting either HSD or the plaintiffs know what's going on. So that's something that's interesting. And then the special master can talk to HSD on their own or to the plaintiffs on their own, make findings, and make sure that Judge Gonzalez's order from 2015, the consent decree, make sure that thing is being followed and implementing things. And so this is a proposal for this special master, and under the rules of procedure, you can have a special master who's just going to be the eyes and ears of the court and can help in a particular area. So we have that. Okay, and so that part's interesting, but we don't know for sure if both sides are going to agree to it because they have 14 days from the order. That's right. But it sounds like both of them are going to, because that's exactly what HSD. 14 days to appeal, basically. 14 days to appeal it, and then it becomes an order. So then Magistrate Garza, Magistrate Judge Garza will sign it, and then Federal Judge Gonzalez will sign it. Then it goes into effect. And then the sides have 30 days to come up with a name for a special master. And this special master needs to have specific expertise, i.e., none of us here at this table could be special master, no offense, but you've got to have some specific expertise in that area, and both sides have to agree to it. If both sides don't agree to it, well, I know, but if both sides don't agree to it, then they have 15 days to submit to the court, submit names to the court. And what's interesting about this is that HSD will pay for it, which HSD has said,
for this person, the special master,
we'll do it. And so but that's going to take a hit on budget and stuff like that.
Exactly right. Interesting. I'm glad Mary finished there, Didi, because that idea that we are all in the state paying for this person, he or she, to watch over our department. But there seemed to be a bit of a negotiation. When I read the quotes from HSD, they seem somewhat okay with this, but about 20% not okay.
What was the alternative? The alternative was that the whole department would be put into receivership.
Federal receivership.
And that is what the plaintiffs had asked for. So this is better from their point of view. The plaintiffs, interestingly enough, had not asked that the department be held in contempt, but the judge said the department should be held in contempt for its non-compliance, it's dragging its feet for years, and for not taking the fifth, for example.
Oh, well, wait a second. You can't punish somebody for taking the fifth.
All right. Well, maybe that wasn't
it. Sort of looks bad, I guess.
Well, just the ordeal.
I
think I've in reading the decision, the judge felt that they had been put through the ringer by HSD with all these delaying for years, and this has been going on for a long time. The department has delayed Medicaid benefits before. It has that has done all kinds of things to save money and make it easier for them. And I agree with the contempt citation because, a good leader of HSD, and we desperately need a good leader of HSD, would say the buck stops here. And we've got to fix this, and we got to fix this now. We got to fix our computer system so it doesn't just spit out people. We got to notify people. We got to talk in plain English. That's not been done. And instead, there's just been excuse after excuse.
I'm glad you mentioned that. I've heard that from other people, Laura Sanchez-Rivey, that they felt like the department head could have come out early and strong, just like Dee Dee said, and said, look, you know, I take responsibility, or we take responsibility, we're going to get after this. It seemed to be a bit of a pullback until they got dragged into the situation. So casting forward from here, for the New Mexico taxpayer, what should we expect? You know, I mean, I get we want a fixed system, but how soon? At what cost? Do you know what I mean? It seems like there's some mystery surrounding this still. How we get to point A from point A to B. You know?
Right. Well, I think for the New Mexico taxpayer, certainly having a special master will help. I mean, I think that that's a good approach. You know, we talked on this show last week or a couple weeks ago about the federal receivership issue and the fact that, you know, that then adds a different layer of administration, red tape, if you will.
That's right.
In dealing and trying to figure out what's happening, a special master is an individual that's basically tasked with ensuring that there's compliance with the court's order, with the decree, and everything is functioning properly. That, I think, is a good way to have some reassurance that things will actually be accomplished.
Yeah.
But I think you're right that the head could have come out a lot sooner and provided some reassurance that the buck stops there, as Dee Dee has said. And that didn't happen. And so I think that from the public's perception, there's still a lot of questions, a lot of unknowns about how things will be handled. And this issue, and I think Senator Padilla said, you know, it's a culture of corruption, and one where there needs to be something that happens at all among the rank and file so that these sorts of things don't happen
I'm
again.
glad you just mentioned that. Was my point to Dan. You know, sometimes I'm going to assume the goal is to affect everything up and down the ladder, not just the department head, but just change the culture up and down. And I'm just still at a place where how can one federal dweeb, so to speak, accomplish all this? We're talking a very complicated...
We're not calling a magistrate judge a federal
No,
jury.
Judge Garza. No, she's not a dweeb.
We are not calling that.
Right.
Okay.
All right, Judge Garza. No, no. Thank you, Mary T. Torres. But you know what I mean? I'm still on this expectations thing.
Well, I think there's a couple things, Gene. First of all is that, you know, when you come in, as I think Dee Dee will tell you and other folks that have worked with the legislature and the government, you know, there's a real attitude with a lot of the state employees, state government workers that are like, look, we just got to hunker down and make it past this administration.
That's right.
And I'm going to have my job. And so I think there's a real disconnect about a secretary. I mean, people think the secretary can come in, is the new secretary, fires everybody
you.
and starts over.
That's right.
I mean, they got 10 jobs that they get to give out of hundreds, if not thousands. What a federal judge can do is come in and say, you're going to rewrite the way you guys hire people. We're going to have some standards in here. And, you know, I guess you could go sue the judge, but most judges usually rule with judges. And so I think you're going to have, I think there could be some effect. We've had a history in the past of working with special masters. We had that on the Pecos River Compact. It worked to our advantage sometimes. We had the Corrections Department in the Duran dissent decree. We've had those things. They've sometimes worked out a little bit better. The one sad part in the whole deal, I'm going to say, not to be political, but is to see the Democrats in the legislature that want to run
Not
and
to be
blame,
political.
and want to run and attack
Since when?
Governor Martinez
It's
for
not.
this.
That's
When the reality is this has been in effect since 1988.
Exactly.
And, you know, I mean, I think it's, I think it just...
But isn't it, to Dee Dee's point, it's a buck stops here kind of a thing?
But the buck does stop here. I hear
Right.
that. And we've talked about that at this table with the
Right.
mayor and other entities. But here's the problem. You can't say the buck stops here for things that have happened since 1988.
You can't,
that
because
you
I
have
thought she ran on
that you
that.
have no
I thought
ability.
she ran on
But-
the, we're
Okay,
going to fix all the problems of the past.
So here's the problem, though. But as Dee Dee very eloquently pointed out, well, they've done this on Medicaid to help save money. These are all legislative problems, right? These are the legislature not appropriating the right
No.
amount of money to do
These
things.
are regulations.
Oh, no, these are totally legislative.
Training.
But
No,
these
this is-
regulations have changed. The regulations have changed. The federal regulations have changed, which is that's what the employees are saying. Hey, we need some help in our training, and I think that's what the secretary is
And we talk
saying.
about
I'm
these
trying to do
computer
these orders.
systems over the years. I mean,
Exactly.
these are computer systems that we're using, that Governor Richardson purchased, and to some extent his people did. They put them in. They
hear
never
you.
worked right. So my point is this. I don't think that the governor shouldn't have. There's not some blame that goes to this administration. But I think when you see folks
not
like
all
Senator
her
Padilla
fault
that run in
at
the front and
all.
want to say, well, it's clearly all Susana Martinez and her administration's problem. I think people are tired of that.
There you go. Now, when we come back to the line, we will talk about new cuts in programs and staff at NMSU.